Hi, my name is Tobias, I'm from Quantum Stage, and in this video I'm going to give you a quick introduction of what is included in our motion matching collection. This collection contains 139 animation files captured at Quantum Stage with a high-end optical motion capture system. All animations follow standardized movement patterns, primarily covering locomotion in different speeds and directions. Quantum Stage is a Swiss-based performance capture studio specializing in the precise recording of human motion. It was shot using the same technology used by AAA studios and other major Hollywood productions. If you take a look at the info sheet, it will give you a great overview over what was recorded. There's categories for each movement pattern, duration, capture frame rate, and a bunch of other information. Now let's have a look at the recorded action. There's takes for loop cycle generation, for walks, jogs, runs, and crouched walks. One of the core movement patterns of motion matching are dance cards. And so, as the name implies, a dance card is simply a movement pattern for the actor to follow that will cover 45-degree angle turns in both directions. The general idea behind it is that you have a consistent movement as well as a consistent moving from one turn to the other. Here's a full description of the dance card that we used in this production. The actor will start in one place, walk forward, then he will turn 90 degrees left, keep walking, turn 145 degrees left, and then 45 degrees left, 180 degrees left. Then he will do 180 degrees right, and then 45 degrees right, 135 right, and 90 degrees right, and we'll end up at the same start point. So by doing this, you get both the directional movement and the turn movement, which will look more natural if everything is done in one step. Each card was also recorded with and without stops. Stop in this case means the actor stopped before doing a turn. This dance card and movement principle was used for all movement velocities. Now for runs, this is a little different because we needed more velocity and the space in the studio was not big enough. Because of this, we divided the dance card into two sides, left and right. The actor would start outside of the studio space, get up to speed, run into the volume, and then do an angle turn into the various angles. This allowed for a more accurate capture of high velocity directional changes. For strafing, we recorded three patterns. In the diamond pattern, we cover 135-degree angle changes in both left and right. In the square pattern, we cover 90-degree angle changes both left and right. And then the star pattern covers all directions, both forwards and backwards. Then there's also a ton of idle and idle break with variations. Then we have turns in each direction. We also have turn with steps. This means turning and taking a step at the same time. We have steps into each direction, or also known as small repositions. Then there are a few interrupted starts. Then there are some jumps into each direction and with different heights. There are stance transitions, which means going from one pose to the other and back. Then there are some dodges into each direction with variations. And then we have circle pattern, which is running in a circle, going from a big to a smaller circle and back to a big circle again. This was done both left and right. The snake pattern is basically walking on a squiggly line with various degrees of turning. Then there are transitions from start to stop for all movement speeds and directions. And transitions going from one velocity to another or from one stance to another. Now let's have a look at what kind of files you get with each animation take. First of all, you get the raw export from the motion capture software in FBX format. Then you get the animation in the BVH format at the source capture frame rate. You get the C3D file, which just contains the marker data if you want to do your own solving or further cleanup. Then you also get the raw export from the Stretch Sense gloves. And then each data is also retargeted in a preview format for the following skeleton rigs. the Mixamo dummy rig, the Unity 6 armature rig, the iClone motion dummy that is using the Character Creator 3 skeleton rig, and lastly for Unreal Engine, both the Mani and the MetaHuman male medium normal weight rig. Besides the animation files, each take also comes with a video reference footage that you can use as a visual reference of what the actor did in each take. Then there's also quad use, which combines the video reference with the animation data rendering. Now let's look at some issues you may encounter when using this data. First one I'm showing you here is something that looks like a bug, but actually there's no way to fix this. Because as the actor runs outside of what is the captured volume, which means he's outside of what the cameras can see, there is no animation data being tracked. And so the system will just blend from that pose where he was outside of the volume back to when he was back inside the volume. Because of the sheer volume of animation data, the retargeting was done in a batched preview way. For example, in this crouched motion where the actor's hands were actually touching his upper leg. So this will be a typical place for motion editing where you would correct those mistakes. Here's another example of different preview retargeting results, where one rig has no issues with ground contact and another rig has its knees and arms not touching the ground correctly. On a few small clips there's also some marker noise in the fingers, which you can see here on the screen. Besides these issues, however, the animation quality is pretty high. You can use the video preview that contains all the animation data to have a look yourself. The data you see in the preview rendering is exactly what is included. Last but not least, there's also a free example of the walk dance card that you can download yourself to check the animation data quality. It includes all files for that take, same as in the main collection. One more important thing to be aware of is that all animation clips contain the complete motion capture take from T-pose to T-pose. So this means that there are no game engine ready loops or pose matched clips. Finally, please read the end user license agreement and make sure you understand its contents. The license is pretty open, you can do almost anything you want with the animation, except for reselling it or using it to train novel animation data with AI systems. Okay, that's it for me. I hope now you have a better understanding of what is included in this animation collection. If you have any questions or concerns, just send us an email. We truly hope you enjoyed this first release from Quantum Stage, and we look forward to seeing what you will create with it. Thank you for watching and have a great day.